Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Before continuing, please review the legal disclaimer provided in the comments section of this video. A lot of people still think immigration to Australia is mainly for young professionals, international students, or skilled workers chasing higher salaries and a better lifestyle. But the reality in 2026 is changing very quickly. One of the fastest growing groups now looking seriously at Australia are retirees, financially independent families, business owners, and long-term planners who are no longer comfortable depending entirely on one country for their future. Because the world today feels far less predictable than it did even a decade ago. People who spent 40 or 50 years building businesses, saving money, paying taxes, and raising families are now watching inflation rise, healthcare systems struggle, political polarization increase, and social instability spread across many Western countries. And for many families, the conversation is no longer just about retirement. It is about resilience, security, optionality, and creating multiple backup plans before the next major global disruption arrives. That is why Australia has quietly become one of the most attractive strategic destinations in the world for long-term relocation and future-proofing. Not because it is perfect, but because it still offers something that many countries are rapidly losing. Stability Australia combines strong institutions, modern infrastructure, relatively high-quality healthcare, abundant natural resources, geographic distance from many global conflict zones, and one of the highest standards of living on Earth. And that combination is becoming more valuable every single year, especially for older families who are thinking less about maximizing income and more about preserving quality of life, safety, and long-term security. Because eventually people stop asking where they can make the most money and start asking where they can live peacefully for the next 20 or 30 years. That is where Australia stands out. For many retirees and globally mobile families, Australia feels familiar enough to integrate easily, while still offering a different pace and structure compared to countries facing increasing economic or political pressure. English-speaking systems, reliable infrastructure, large multicultural communities, strong legal protections, modern healthcare, and globally respected institutions. Those things matter enormously once people start planning for long-term stability instead of short-term opportunity. And one of the biggest changes happening globally is that retirement itself is becoming international. People are no longer assuming they will spend the rest of their lives in the country where they were born. Instead, they are building layered plans. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, and sometimes even Plan D. Because smart families increasingly understand that depending completely on one government, one economy, one healthcare system, and one banking system creates vulnerability. And Australia is becoming one of the countries people increasingly want included inside that global safety net, especially because many retirees today are not looking for isolation. They still want world-class cities, good hospitals, international airports, strong property rights, access to nature, and a society that still functions at a high level. Australia offers all of that. Cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide continue attracting globally mobile families who want modern living combined with long-term stability. At the same time, regional Australia is also becoming attractive for retirees who want slower lifestyles, cleaner environments, and lower pressure living, while still maintaining access to good infrastructure and healthcare. And healthcare itself is becoming one of the biggest drivers behind retirement migration, because as people age, they start evaluating countries differently, not just based on taxes or travel freedom, but based on hospital quality, emergency care, specialist access, medical infrastructure, and long-term reliability. And Australia consistently ranks among the countries people trust most for healthcare quality and medical standards. That creates enormous psychological security for older families. especially people coming from countries where healthcare systems are becoming more overloaded, politicized, or financially unsustainable. Another major factor is diversification. Retirees and investors increasingly want part of their wealth outside their home country, not necessarily to avoid taxes entirely, but to reduce concentration risk, holding assets across multiple jurisdictions, having access to different banking systems, owning property internationally, and knowing that one political decision cannot completely destabilize their future. That mindset is becoming mainstream among globally aware retirees, and immigration is becoming part of financial planning itself, not just lifestyle planning. Australia also benefits from geography in ways many people underestimate. In an era where geopolitical tensions are rising globally, distance matters again. Food production matters, water security matters, energy stability matters, political predictability matters, and Australia possesses advantages in all of those areas, which is exactly why more internationally mobile families are beginning to see Australian residency not simply as migration, but as strategic positioning for the future. At the same time, people are realizing that immigration windows do not stay open forever. Rules tighten, requirements increase, competition grows, processing becomes slower, investment thresholds rise, and the people who usually benefit most are the ones who prepared early before urgency arrived. That is why smart families are increasingly testing countries gradually instead of waiting for emergencies. Maybe Australia starts as a seasonal base. Maybe families spend a few months each year there. Maybe children study there. Maybe investments slowly move there. Maybe retirement plans evolve over time. Because the people who transition successfully internationally are rarely the people who move suddenly in panic. They are the people who spent years building familiarity, comfort routines, and connections before they ever fully relocated. And Australia works extremely well for that kind of gradual transition. It offers enough familiarity for Western retirees to adapt comfortably, while still providing distance diversification and long-term strategic stability. For many people, Australia is no longer just a migration destination. It is becoming a global insurance policy, a country that offers safety infrastructure, lifestyle, healthcare, and long-term resilience in an increasingly uncertain world. And over the next decade, the families who prepared early, who diversified internationally, and who built multiple legal, financial, and geographic options will likely have far more flexibility than those who stayed entirely dependent on one system. That is why more retirees, investors, entrepreneurs, and globally mobile families are quietly looking at Australia, not just as a place to visit or retire, but as a critical piece of their long-term global backup plan. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe because we will continue covering every major immigration visa, residency, and citizenship update affecting migrants in Australia and around the world as new information is officially released, so you can make informed decisions without falling into common traps, and we can assist you to simplify the entire complexity of the process and guide you from start to finish with peace of mind and in a hassle-free way. No worries. Do get in touch with us now on our WhatsApp mobile number +6 217 86007, also provided in the comment section of this video, and we will get in touch with you as soon as possible. Your journey deserves the right start, and it starts with the right consultation. And now you have it. Thank you for watching.